All glories to Srivas Pandit, the fifth member of the Panchatattva, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Adwaita, Gadadhar, and Srivas. Srivas Pandit lived in Nadavweep before the advent of Lord Chaitanya. He led his brothers Rama, Nidhi, and Shripati in their devotional lives of singing Krishna's names, worshipping the Lord, and bathing 3 times daily in the Ganges. They also met with Adwaita Acharya and studied Srimad Bhagavatam and prayed for an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, because they knew only Krishna could re-establish Vaishnavism among the staunch atheists, logicians and proud pundits who were prominent at that time. Seeing the wretched state of the fallen living entities in Kali Yuga, the devotees began to cry out to the Lord for all the people's deliverance. Krishna heard the call of his devotees. On the full moon, 18th of February, 1486, the Lord incarnated himself as baby Nimai in the house of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. With his appearance, there was the simultaneous dawning of all auspiciousness within the world as it became filled with Harinama. Just as Adwaita Acharya from Shantipur could understand that the Lord had appeared, similarly Srivas and some of the other devotees of Nadavweep also understood. Srivas Pandit's wife was Malini Devi. She was a very close friend of Sachi Devi and was always very helpful to her. Srivas and Jagannath Mishra came to her at this time and hinted that she was especially needed now. Their hearts were simply filled with parental affection for baby Nimai, without a trace of awe or reverence. Srivas and Malini gave Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra much advice how to raise their new son. Srivas and Malini were just like a mother and a father to baby Nimai, and he loved them just like a second mother and father. Srivas's house and compound were located 200 yards north of Nimai's house. Srivas Pandit's palatial home had large, comfortable rooms, a high protective boundary wall, and lush, densely growing gardens and groves. Every night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his dearest friends would enjoy ecstatic kirtans there. It was also here that the Muslim Qazi broke the Madanga in an attempt to stop Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan. Henceforward, Srivas's compound was known as Kol Bangadanga, the place where the Madanga was broken. The Qazi had passed an ordinance prohibiting Sankirtan. Violators would be punished and lose their property. Although most of the residents of Nadavweep panicked over this, Srivas Pandit laughed at such a law. The house of Srivas Pandit served as the headquarters of Gauranga's Sankirtan movement. The daily Bhagavatam classes, nightly kirtans, and many confidential pastimes of Lord Chaitanya occurred there. Srivas Pandit and Sri Adwaita Acharya, the learned chiefs of the Brahmana community, dedicated all their energy to the Lord's Harinama Sankirtan movement. They surrendered their bodies, minds, homes, friends, family, and all possessions to Lord Gaura's service. Srivas Pandit is Narada Muni, an intergalactic preacher and constant associate of the Lord. It is stated in the Gaura Ganadish Dipika Intelligent Srivas Pandit had previously been Narada Muni, the best of the sages. Srivas's younger brother, Rama Pandit, had previously been Narada's close friend, Parvata Muni. Vrindavan Das Thakur sang the praises of Srivas Pandit in this way. It was in Srivas Pandit's house that Sri Chaitanya enacted his pastimes of Sankirtan. Those four brothers, Srivas, Ram, Sripati, and Nidhi, were continuously engaged in singing the names of Krishna. One day, when Nimai was older, Srivas Pandit gave him good counsel. Why do people study? So that they might understand what is devotion to Sri Krishna, he told Nimai. If by scholarship one doesn't gain devotion to Sri Krishna, then how will that learning help him? It becomes simply a tedious endeavour, which in the end is nothing but a waste of time. If you have actually learned something, then begin your worship of Sri Krishna now. Make haste. This is the purpose of your life. Nimai laughed as he replied, By your mercy, certainly that will come to be. If you are very kind enough to me, then definitely I will attain devotion to Sri Krishna's lotus feet. Shortly thereafter, Mahaprabhu journeyed to Gaya, where he performed the pastimes of accepting initiation from Sri Ishvara Puri. One day, in an ecstatic mood, Lord Chaitanya entered Srivas's house, asking, Srivas, whom do you worship? Whom do you meditate upon? Now, with your own two eyes, see that person standing before you. Saying this, Mahaprabhu entered the deity room within Srivas's home and sat down on the seat of Lord Vishnu, revealing his own four-armed form, holding the conch, disc, club, and lotus flower. Seeing this form, Srivas was totally astonished. Sri Gaurasunda then said, Due to being called by your Sankirtan and the loud roaring of Advaita Acharya, I have descended upon this mortal world, accompanied by my eternal associates. I will destroy the miscreants and deliver the pious. Now, without fear, you can chant my glories. Hearing these words of his Lord, which dispelled all fear, Srivas fell on the ground, offering his obeisances. Then he began to recite hymns in praise of the Lord. When Srivas Pandit described the glories of Gaurasunda in various ways, Lord Chaitanya showed even more compassion to Srivas by revealing himself to all of his family members. Seeing the niece of Srivas Pandit present before him, Lord Chaitanya called to her, Narayani, call upon Sri Krishna with tears in your eyes. And immediately this little girl, only 4 years of age, began to cry out, Hare Krishna, while shedding tears incessantly. In fact, the flood of tears fell down her body to such an extent that the ground around her feet became soaked. Seeing little Narayani totally agitated in ecstatic love, Malini Devi and the household servants also began to shed tears of love. The courtyard of Srivas took on a very beautiful appearance, being decorated with ecstatic love for Krishna. There was one maidservant in Srivas Pandit's house by the name Duki. Every day she used to bring water from the Ganges for Mahaprabhu's bath. One day Gaurasunda asked Srivas, Who brings this water? Duki brings it, Srivas replied. From today her name is Sukhi, said the Lord. Thus he indicated that those who serve the Lord and the Lord's devotees are not dukhi, sad. Rather, they are Sukhi, happy. All glories to Srivas Pandit, all glories to all the devotees, all glories to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda.